gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded. I am your host, Eric. My main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
Oh, ready to go.
Oh, I am so
Little
super
chaos before
excited.
the show. I'm sure it's going to filter right through it.
If you are joining us live, please join in on the chat. Let us know if you want to talk about anything other than politics or religion. We'll be more than happy to do that. You can just chime in on the box and we'll bring your comments up. Ron, we have so much to cover, so much to go over. We cover all of the top sports stories that are going on in the week. We let you know our opinions, but we'd like to hear yours as well. So let us know either on the chat or obviously comment after the show. If you are listening to us on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, hey, come join the show every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. And we'd love to have you join our show as well. Wait all week for this. Thank you, Kenny, my man. The big dog's in the house as well. We've got so much fun to happen and talk about. So I just want to talk about, I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, Ron, before we get into the sports thing, my license plate situation where my plate got stolen. Can I say in Connecticut, the one thing I love now, you got to go to the DMV, you make an appointment. I don't know, we're a little older, but back in the day, you go to the DMV, it might be that
the line was a mile long.
Right? I literally was in and out of this thing in 15 minutes. Got a new plate.
Really?
I was like, this is great. You make an appointment, you show up, they pretty much call your number in a couple minutes and you're done. I was like,
That's a
this
great
is
thing.
right. They're pretty smart. I mean, let's not ever go back to the old way. If that ever
Oh my
becomes
God. You would have to take 2 days off just to do this because
Right?
it's not a guarantee you were going to get to the counter day one.
or something was wrong, you're missing something, so you had to go back the next day.
Yeah.
Like, it was just insane.
And the line literally took hours and hours. It was an all-day thing.
It was
And
so
you're
bad.
just hoping you can make it to the counter before they close.
Right? It was amazing. Amazing. So, Connecticut, great job with the DMV. I mean, you're doing something right there. Keep doing that. But let's talk some sports, Ron, because that's why we're really here.
Oh, is that why we're here?
I think so. So we're going to start off with our leadoff story. We're going to talk some men's basketball. The men's USA team is kicking off this weekend. And I guess the question I'm asking you, should the men's USA basketball team be favored in Paris? So they are pretty much the odds-on favorite to win gold. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, they should be, but man, they suck as a team. I'm sorry. They just suck as a team. And you know what? I don't mind saying it because I don't really care about this team. Look, yes, I'm a Celtic fan and Jason Tatum is on it, but
half the team's the Celtics.
What?
Half the team Celtics.
Well, yeah, but
At
I
this
mean,
point.
I like Drew and I like Derek White. Those two are really probably my favorite two guys on this team as people, because I think there's way too many egos. There's way too many people that want the ball and they don't want to give it up. And this is why this team is sucking, because they don't know how to be selfless.
I will say this. I'm more concerned. Injuries. Joel Embiid, we know, is not 100%. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, these guys shouldn't even be here.
Kevin Durant is finally back from practicing, but again, not sure when he'll play.
Yeah, he'll play 5 minutes and get hurt again.
39-year-old LeBron James is your best player. How long do you think he can let that gas? James, thanks for joining Olympics. Woo, woo. Yeah, James is pumped about the Olympics. And I will say this, think about the competition. Canada, 10 players currently in the NBA on that team, including SGA and Jamal Murray. I think that
Now
team
that's a
is
squad right over there.
very good team. You got Serbia with the 3-time MVP Nikolai Jokic. We know what he can do. Australia's looked very good.
Yeah.
France, the host country. I mean, realistically, you got Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert. That's two big men that could cause a lot of problems for Team USA.
Yeah.
And if you look at their last 2 games, they beat South Sudan by 1 point, and they beat Germany by 4 points.
That's not good.
Not at all. Like, you don't want to go
And
into
those
these
aren't
games.
the best teams.
No. South Sudan, I don't even think. And they play them again, I think, in a couple days.
Yeah, it's startling how abrasive that these guys play together. You know, I mean, it is like watching like 2 things of sandpaper, you know, going up against each other, and it's just horrible to watch. I'm
And this
sorry,
is
it's horrible to watch.
And you know what the problem is, Ron? The NBA today is a shooting league.
Yeah,
It's like I take half court shots, right? When you play international, it's a lot different. They
it
don't
is
play
different.
that style. So
No.
that style doesn't work with international basketball. And I think that's why you see them struggle at times, because it isn't Steph Curry shooting from midcourt. Like, nobody, that's not what they do.
Yeah,
And you've got to be able to defend. You've got to be able to box out, rebound. Like, those are the things that these teams are doing and getting so much better at. And it's causing the American team to struggle.
yeah, and you know, and again, it also goes back to that selfish play. I mean, come on, look, I don't care what anybody says. These guys want to go out there and they want to win the gold, but themselves. They want to be the guy that wins the gold. So nobody's eager to give it up. And even if there's a split second hesitation, there's guys on that court on the other team that can play the game.
Yeah.
And you can see it. And when you have to, if you go up against Canada and you play like that, they're going to get trounced.
I do see James watching rugby the last 2 days. I am not surprised, James.
Rugby's awesome.
Right?
Rugby's awesome.
USA got smacked because Australia. They're known for rugby. We're not. It's not a USA sport.
And it's tougher than football. I mean, those guys are wearing like no pads and they're getting clocked.
It's insane. Ron, I guess before we move on, do you still think USA wins gold?
I don't.
Right. I am a little hesitant. I really don't. I don't feel good about this team.
Yeah, I like Canada's squad. I mean, when you can throw SGA out there and all the other players,
Jamal Murray, they're both very good players.
Right, but you have that 1 or 2 guys focused on the plays, and the rest of the guys are really filling in as role players, even though they're just as capable, and you don't have to worry about divvying up the basketball.
I think, Ron, you said something that really now is striking a chord with me. You said they play for themselves. So think about the Jaylen Brown situation where he wanted to be on the team. I don't think he wanted to be on the team because they're trying to do it for the United States and they want to win gold. They want to do it because it's kind of like bragging rights. Like, hey, I made the Olympic squad.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. That's what this team is. It's a group of guys that are saying, hey, look at me. I'm not playing. I'm not saying they're unpatriotic before somebody gets all in a tangent. And like Eric said, they don't like the United States.
Send your hate mail too.
Yeah. Rhode Island Broadcasting, gmail.com, whatever. Right. But I will say, at the end of the day, I feel like, to your point, they're just playing the game because they felt like, hey, I deserve to be here, not for the United States.
Right. Yeah, and that's the wrong thought process. You know, I mean, when you look at the players that they're putting on the court, it's like, wait, do they have a history of really playing for the team? And we just saw Jason Tatum basically take less credit with the points that he's scoring or lack of points that was scoring to make the team better. But now he's in a situation where he doesn't really have to do that. So is he playing for the right reasons? Is LeBron is never playing for the right reasons. I don't care what anybody says. I'm already tired of LeBron James. I'm tired that he's carrying the damn flag. Who the hell is he? Who the hell are you?
My goodness. The funny thing too, I'm sick of people saying that this team is like the dream team of 92.
Come
This is
on.
not even close.
It's not even close.
Not even close. And
Even
I will say
Bird
it's not
with a
because
bad back was better than any of these guys.
but even not even the players themselves. What I would say is this: if you think about how far countries have come, right, in the sport, those guys when they got there, there was an aura around that team that the other teams were just so happy to be playing on the same court with a Michael Jordan or a Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
They didn't even care. They weren't playing.
They were all great.
Right? Like this team here, Bam Adebayo. You think these guys really care if they're playing with Bam Adebayo?
No.
Jason Tatum, a very good player, one of the top in the NBA now, right? But they don't care. These guys in South Sudan didn't give a crap that, oh my gosh, I'm playing with Joel Embiid. Like, it's not the same.
No.
Those guys were playing with Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Larry Bird and legends.
Yes.
Do not compare the two teams. People out there that do that are just imbeciles. JT coming off the bench. Why?
Right. It's look, it's not a likable team. It's not a likable team. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a likable team. And, it's very egotistical of the United States and the fans of basketball to think that this is going to be an easy gold.
Yeah, they just expect to win. We're gonna put our best players on. And that doesn't necessarily mean a victory now, because you got to have your heart's got to be in it too.
Yeah,
it's got to be that piece. Bam, Kenny, Bam. Right? Like, who cares? I'm not saying like we play against Bam. We be like, wow, we're playing against Bam Adebayo. These guys don't care. You think Serbia is worried? You think Nikolai Jokic cares that Bam Adebayo is on the court?
Nikolai Jokic is probably laughing his ass off.
He's like, I beat this guy every year in the regular NBA. Yeah. That's the problem. And I'm not saying Bam's a bad player. I'm just saying these guys aren't the same stratus that those guys were in 92. Stop comparing the two. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ron, great first discussion.
We could have an hour and a half
just on
just of that.
I will say this. Thank you for joining the chats, James, Kenny. You guys are always loyal, and we appreciate it. If anybody else is out there live, hey, join in. Let us know. What do you think? Does the USA men's basketball team win gold, or do you feel like they may fail? What do you two think as well? Since you've already joined, I agree with Ron. I am really skeptical that this team will win gold.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got some squads out there. I mean, Canada, France, Serbia. There's some teams.
A lot of good teams out there. All right, let's talk some NFL, Ron. So the San Francisco 49ers, a little bit of trouble right now. Trent Williams is holding out. Brandon Ayuk is actually holding in. Do you feel like this team is in trouble now with some of these off the field situations that are happening?
Well, to contend, yes. To win the division, I think they can still win the division. Because they still have a lot of talent, even on offense. You can win that division with the offensive talent that you still have on the field and the defensive talent that you still have on the field. But you are not going to win a Super Bowl without those guys in your lineup. And
that's where I think they got Trent Williams, one of the best linemen, left tackles in the league. Brandon Ayuk led this team with 75 receptions last year. He is their best wide receiver. Brock Purdy's number one option. You can only get so lucky for so long when you continue to lose all pro players, Pro Bowl players. And I feel like this team right now is just, biting off more than they can chew if they don't get these guys in camp and not avoid having to either trade them or do something that realistically could cause them not to make the playoffs. I think you're right. They make the playoffs, but how much? I was thinking about it this way, Ron. New England, it was kind of the opposite. You had the great quarterback and you could put anything around him and he'd be successful. This team, to me, needs players around Brock Purdy. He is not a Tom Brady. He is an average quarterback who, with all the talent they've surrounded him with, has become a Super Bowl contending quarterback.
Right.
How do you do that if you're going to lose his number one wide receiver, his number one left tackle? Those would be some massive losses for them.
Absolutely. And when you start losing players, especially for reasons that they really shouldn't be losing them. I mean, you got to take care of these guys that get you there every year. You got to take care of them. And you know when these contracts are up. So you need to really be able to run your franchise appropriately. You know, everybody knows, okay, you go for it, you try to win the championship, and then you're going to suffer most likely, right? But it doesn't always have to be like that. You know, if you can plan, you know, your roster, you know who's going to be asking for more money. You know that's coming up. So you take care of those guys that get you there every year, and then you try to fill in those spots of other places. You know, I mean, look, we're seeing what the Patriots are doing, re-signing all these guys that got them to last place in the division. Something wasn't working. Why you keep doing the same thing, right? We've been saying this for months now.
Yeah.
But if the guys are getting you to where you need to go, if you need to get to the Super Bowl and those guys got you to the Super Bowl, those are the guys that you want to resign. You want to try to do it again, you know, and then you try to add a piece somewhere along the lines. Yes, you're always going to have to let somebody go to give somebody else the money, but you let the guy go that isn't the one that's getting you there.
Yeah, I just don't know how they make it past this if they don't sign Trent Williams.
You need Trent Williams.
That's a massive piece.
Like,
I'm not saying Brandon Ayuk is a very good piece. You can maybe possibly get it right. You're not getting a Trent Williams anywhere. I was just
going to say that. You're not going to get away with not putting Trent Williams with a new contract. So if you're coming down to the point, okay, who do we keep? You keep Trent Williams. That's what you do. And then you try to make it up somewhere else, right?
You trade Brandon Ayuk to New England, and then we go from there. I
right. Like right. We have Douglas. We have some other Bourne. Yeah. You can have those guys. You can have both of them.
Two for one. 2 for 1. What a deal. What a deal here in New England. 2 for 1.
Can we still trade the rights of Brady and Gronk?
Oh, boy. All right. We got one more NFL story to talk about.
Yes,
what do you think about the Tua Tagovailoa new deal with the Dolphins? Do you agree with it? Do you think he deserved it?
That's a tough one because, you know,
biggest contract in Miami Dolphin history, they said.
The what?
It's the biggest contract in Miami Dolphin history.
Yeah, that I don't doubt. It's always next year. It'll be another one. You know, this is every year. You're always going to give out the biggest contract in franchise history every year from now on. That's how it's going to work.
Not earned yet. James doesn't think he earned it.
Look, I do. I do think he earned it. The problem I have with it is he is a risk. He's a risk. And his career could end at any moment.
17 games last season. So you look at maybe he figured out something to keep himself on the field. But 4 years,
they hid all the injuries.
$212.4 million deal with $167 million guaranteed. I looked at it. 4 seasons, 32-19, a 66.9% completion percentage. He's almost thrown for 13,000 yards. Like, good numbers. 81 touchdowns to 37 interceptions. This is the key for me, though. Is he a playoff winning quarterback?
That is always the question.
0-1. Right? So, yes, you have the talent in Miami. We know offensively.
Yeah.
But is he the guy that's going to get you to a Super Bowl? If you're paying him for that, then this contract is clearly worth it. I don't know if he is that guy, though.
You also got to wonder, what is the rumblings of trading who, his number one target, right? Are they really thinking of trading him?
Tyreek?
Yeah.
No, not.
I mean, you hear rumors here and there.
I'd be shocked.
And
right
where there's smoke, there's usually fire. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
James. I mean, if they get rid of that target, then what happens to the offense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You need those targets. Him, Waddle, I mean, have been such a big piece. And James is right. Like, this is a Dak situation. Like, you're paying him with the hopes of that he can prove he can win it when it really counts. He's going to win regular season games. They have too much talent not to. But again, 0-1 in the playoffs, one Pro Bowl in his 4 seasons so far. There's still some questions as to how good of a quarterback he is. I understand the league and where the pay scale is now, and you can sit back and go, okay, that's kind of what they're paying quarterbacks. But again, I would also look at the fact that look at what Dallas is doing with Dak, because they're not sure if he's going to be able to get them where they want them to ultimately go, and that's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and another thing is, where does he fit in the rankings of quarterbacks in the NFL
right now, right?
Because when you think about it, okay, he's had several seasons to figure it out, right? And you said only 1 Pro Bowl. Well, CJ Stroud came in year 1, is already better than him. So you drop a peg. How many pegs are you going to drop when he becomes an average quarterback? Because is he better than Josh Allen?
No.
I don't think he is. He's not better than Mahomes.
No, clearly not. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, right?
Right. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Right. So you start
Joe
Burrow, and you got oh my God, I can't even think
Herbert. I would put Herbert probably in the same boat.
I can't. Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson again.
And he hasn't proved it in the playoffs. Yeah. So, where does he fit? And as you go along the league, he drops another notch.
But that's the problem, too, because think about the quarterback. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, they're all getting paid in that kind of range, but they haven't won.
Yeah. And then you look at just the division alone, he's the 3rd best quarterback.
Drake May, Josh Allen. No. Oh, sorry. Hey, a man can hope. Ron, a man can hope.
But see, so he's the 3rd best quarterback just in your division. And then you got to throw in the rest of the AFC and forget it. By then, you're already down to number 10. So he's an average quarterback is basically what he is. I don't know. I don't know if he gets the job done because you have to have a squad. You have to have the pieces on offense, keep the talent. And you're going to have the pieces on defense.
Yeah, they got to obviously keep the talent around him. I think you see a fast drop.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, listen, I hope he stays healthy. I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably the most important piece because there was a lot of questions. But great conversation. Thank you, James, for chiming in on that as well. But we're on to our starting 5, Ron.
Oh, yeah. Apologize ahead of time.
I'm going to regret this if you do what you say we're going to do before the show started. So do not. Our starting 5 today, we want to have a little fun. We always do the sports, name a player, right? Georgia was a great one. We're our top 5 sports movies that would be in our starting 5. So, Ron, you are first this week. I'm sure you have a few honorable mentions. Few.
I do have a few. Like I could put The Natural in, but I'm not going to.
The few. So start off with your honorable mentions, Ron. Who do you have?
All right.
What movies?
So I have Slapshot in my honorable mentions. Fantastic hockey movie. I have Dodgeball.
Yeah, and again, I was like on the fence with these because I find them more comedy than I do a sports movie,
Yeah,
but I
it's
get it.
still about
It's about
sports.
sports. And I love, if you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball, man. That was
Right.
still a great line.
So I went with dodgeball instead of Caddyshack.
I like it.
Caddyshack not in for
Yeah.
me.
Got it. Okay.
Hoosiers, great basketball movie. Love it. That was on the bubble for the top 5.
One of my honorable mentions.
You
Yes.
know, and I couldn't. I had to put it in. Had to put it in. Invincible. Invincible is my favorite football movie. Yes, it's my favorite.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
didn't
great
have
movie.
Any Given Sunday.
That
No
was a good
Remember the
movie.
Titans. None of that.
That was a great movie.
That was a
Invincible.
great movie.
I like
I
that one.
love it.
That was a very good movie. Good
No
one.
Rudy. I had that one.
Yeah,
Boom.
very good. Very
in
good.
there.
That's your honorable mentions?
No, I have one more.
One more.
I don't know if you ever saw the movie Denzel Washington, The Hurricane.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Boxing movie.
Oh my God, what a great movie. So I didn't have Raging Bull, you know, another great boxing movie in there, but I did have The Hurricane.
Very good. Not bad. Not bad. How disrespectful. Wow. Kenny doesn't like it. So in
What?
my honorable mentions, you already talked about Hoosiers. Believe it or not, I don't know why I like these. And I think it's just because of the nostalgia from before that's in one of my starting fives. But Creed. I like Creed.
Oh, I have, that's one of my 30 real
Yeah.
honorable mentions.
So I liked Creed. I had Bull Durham. I like
Yep,
that.
that's
just the
another one.
baseball. Major League. I thought that was another one that, again, I would watch over and over again. I just liked how the Indians, who had stunk for all those years, and how they got to the. And then, listen,
Nothing's changed.
you had me at hello. Jerry Maguire made my honorable mention. I love Jerry
No.
Maguire.
I had 30 movies.
Drew.
Down. That was not one of them.
Drew Bledsoe was in that movie. Jerry Maguire. Show me the money, baby. Show me the money. All right. So we are on to our starting 5, Ron. So at 5, your movie.
At 5, I do have Major League. I absolutely love that movie. Probably, well, it is my favorite baseball movie. I mean, I like For the Love of the Game, you know, The Natural, of course. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of Bull Durham, you know, Field of Dreams. All of those movies didn't make it for me, but Major League did. I love that movie.
That was great.
I thought it was hilarious.
Great movie. Great movie. It made my honorable mentions. So at 5 for me, 1993, starring Sean Austin, Rudy, baby. How do you not have the fact that this kid walk on Notre Dame and just the whole story about how he finally got to run on that field. I get emotional every time I see that when the coach, the whole team's like, we're not going in. He takes my spot. And the coach had no choice. And the kid ran out there and he made a play. Rudy for me at number 5.
Yeah. Great.
You lack emotion. That's your problem. What do you got at 4?
Number 4, I have Adam Sandler, The Water Boy. I mean, come on. I love that movie.
Bobby Boucher, baby.
Stop making fun of me.
Water Boy. How old are you, kid? And he was like, 30.
Come on. That is just absolutely hilarious. What a great movie.
It was.
It doesn't matter if it's a comedy. If it's a great movie and I watch it over and over, it goes on the list. It goes on the list.
Water Boy, I agree. I probably missed that one. That's a great one. Good job on that one. At 4 for me, I had Field of Dreams, starring Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones, Ray Liotta.
Yeah, but it's boring.
To me, it symbolized one thing: if you build it, they will come. That line and what they do, and think about it now. Major League Baseball actually does it. Like they have a Field of Dreams series every year because it was just so iconic. The movie itself and the way they come out in the cornfields. So
the movie kind of emulates the game. Boring.
Again, you are just harsh today. Harsh. You know what, Ron?
I am making up for.
Why are you crapping on my list? I'm not crapping on your list. I'm giving you like props, and all you're doing is crapping on my list, and it hurts. All right, what do we got at 3?
All right, number 3. I have back-to-back Adam. Happy Gilmore, baby. Look, you can't argue with Chubbs, right? You cannot say that one of the best movie scenes of all time isn't the one where Bob Barker beats the hell out of Adam Sandler.
You're wrong, Bob. Yeah, no, he wasn't.
You know,
I agree.
like that was one of the best scenes of all time.
And I was on the fence because, again, more comedy to me than it is a sports movie,
Oh,
but it
that
is
movie-
containing sports. So I agree with you.
I eat pieces of crap like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of crap for breakfast?
Happy Gilmore.
Come on. Shooter McGavin.
Shooter, baby. And that guy still carries that with him now. He still does stuff for Shooter McGavin.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. At 3 for me, Ron, one of the greatest boxing movies of all time, Rocky. 1976, Sylvester Stallone. You think about a guy that shouldn't even been in the ring. They gave him a shot to win the heavyweight title. Rest is history. We've had several movies afterwards. And I always think of this, when you're iconic as a movie, something happened, either a line or something. There's a statue in Philadelphia based off of that movie. That's how big that movie
I don't think
was.
it's there anymore, though.
It is, isn't it?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Pretty
Wow.
sure.
Fact check if anybody's out there from Philadelphia. Let us know. Is the statue still there? But that was my number 3, Rocky. Yo, Adrian.
My number 2 was Miracle. I just this movie.
Yeah, you're a hockey guy, though. It makes sense.
Right. This movie, I was going to put it at number 1, but there's a reason why I didn't. But like this movie just gets it for me because I remember the whole Olympics. I remember watching those games and just that nostalgia of what had happened, and the acting in that was just immaculate. I loved the movie and everything about it. And I just thought because of the fact that it was just so historic, and then they told the story so well in the movie. I love it. I've seen it a million times.
No, it's great. It is. It's a great movie. For me, at number 2, I had League of Their Own. It's Tom Hanks, Gina Davis. Again, iconic line. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, but there is.
Right? But you think, again, another story of how they overcame, right? World War II, females got to play professionally. I just like the way they told the story. I thought they had a phenomenal cast in that. Rosie O'Donnell, Madonna. Like, they had just so many good actors and actresses in that movie. I loved League of Their Own. And I
can't believe James and Kenny aren't really naming off all kinds of movies at this point.
Yeah, well, they're not as good as us.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it is, Ron.
I know.
Ron, I can't wait to hear your number 1.
That was on that long list I had.
Yeah. What about number 1?
Number 1, and it's funny because I like Miracle as a better movie, but because it's just a long series of movies, I had to go with Rocky. Like, Rocky is in the fabric of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is part of everybody. And seeing those movies one at a time, you know, going on through his life and the losses and the battles that he's fought, and just overcoming life itself, you know, in many of them. And the story it's almost like he's part of your family.
Yeah. It's been so long, right?
I mean, we know Adrian, we know Paulie, we know, Apollo, we know everybody. And I mean, we even know Spider.
Yeah.
Who made an appearance in the last one.
And I will say this, like, as we talked about the Olympics, right? And you talk about the pride in the country, Rocky IV, when you're right, like, you got so involved in, like, USA, Russia, and we gotta, like, it's a movie, but you felt.
Yeah. And I got a story about that movie.
No,
when they were filming that movie, Rocky challenged Drago, Dolph Lundgren, to a real fight so they can get it.
I just read that. And he was in the hospital for like 5 days afterwards.
Yeah.
Isn't that
It's crazy,
insane?
isn't it?
He's like,
It's
I really want to
crazy.
fight to make it real. It looked real.
Yes, he wanted real punches, and he took a beating. Dolph
Yeah.
was a big
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's in that Old Spice commercial now.
Yeah.
And they got the young face. And I'm like, that guy is still a big boy. Dolph Lundgren. That's great.
Look,
Great.
Kenny, do you believe in miracles?
Do you
Oh my
believe in
God, that
miracles?
line
Another
was
great
so
line.
awesome.
And that's what I'm saying. Iconic movies have a line or something
Have a line.
that,
Yes, they do.
that just sticks with you. So my number one, remember the Titans, 2000, Denzel
Yeah,
Washington.
I wanted to put that in.
And I'm so surprised from you. I just
Couldn't put it in.
the race aspect, the coaching
I
aspect,
know.
how the whole community finally and then the players, the way those players portrayed it, you know what I mean? They hated each other at first and then realized we need each other to be successful. I thought it was the perfect sports movie because it shows you what teamwork really did. You couldn't win without each other.
Like, do I think that movie is theatrically better than these other movies? Yes, absolutely. That is one of the greatest sports movies made theatrically wise, like artistically. But I put mine in on what movies I've seen the most.
Yeah,
Because that's the entertainment factor, and that's what I went by.
No, I agree. And I think Denzel honestly should have won an Oscar for that one.
Before the show, we had talked about this, and I said there were going to be no wrong answers here because everybody has a criteria. Everybody has seen movies, at different times, and there are all these movies, all these sports movies that I have on this list are great movies.
Yeah, absolutely. What a fun list. That was a fun one.
Yeah,
I
was.
really enjoyed that. We'll have to mix it up again next time, do something a little different again. Starting 5. I mean, it doesn't always have to just be names. Let's have some fun with it. But we're moving on to the NBA, Ron. The New York Knicks. What is pain? French bread. What is fatigue? Army. Kenny, you're all right, buddy. The New York Knicks have extended Coach Tom Thibodeau 3 additional years. Do you think he can win it all in New York? Is this a smart decision by the Knicks?
I think so. I think he's doing a good job with this team. I think it's possible he can win a championship because I don't think they're that far away.
Agreed.
I think he might be one piece really away from being a contender.
Yeah, listen, I think injuries hurt him.
Yeah.
In the postseason, I think they would have probably faced Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson has proven to me now that he is a legitimate leader of a team and can win with a team. OG Anunoby re-signing with them, very big piece. And then they made the trade for Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
He's going to be Julius Randle health. And then can Tibbs change his mentality because he likes to run these guys? He's going to have to utilize a bench. He's going to have to. That's where I wonder.
I think, I mean, when you look at it, wow, could you imagine if Clay gone to the Knicks? That would have brought some experience, and I would have brought him off the bench on the Knicks, and that could have made some differences.
Kenny can't get out of the past. Tibbs used to be that defensive guru in Boston when they won the championship, but I just feel like to your he needs to make sure that he utilizes a bench.
Yeah,
because these guys got so overworked that by the time they got to the postseason,
they broke down.
Every one of them was just done.
Yeah,
Brunson got hurt. Hart got hurt at one point. And Anunoby got hurt. Like, you can't have these guys all going down and then expect to win in the postseason.
Yeah, I truly believe this team is possibly one player away from being a contender. They could give the Celtics a run for it, if they pick up that guy. I think they're gonna. If they do pick up another guy, they clearly jump over the other teams.
Yeah, listen, I like them. I really do. I mean, I'm a Celtic fan, but I'd love to see a Boston-New York rivalry. I think
it would be nice.
The NBA would need it. It would help so much. So, yeah, I think great move for Tibbs. Congrats on the
if New York even is a contender. When was the last time they were really truly a contender?
It's been a long time, and last season you got excited about it.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can continue that run. But
Yep.
this is a good move for them. And then they redid Brunson's deal. So they're trying to keep these guys around for some time. They realize they got a good squad there in New York.
Yeah.
Good squad. All right, Ron, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. Great conversation there. Let's talk some a lot of trades, a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Since the lockout, Kenny said. Yeah, it's been a while. So Mason Miller, recent injury. Do you think it hurts his trade value? He was considered probably one of the top trade pieces in this season's trade deadline. And again, stupid injury, got upset, guess banged his hand on a table, broke his left pinky. He's on the 15-day IL.
It's going to be more than 15 days, I hate to tell you.
Do you think teams are going to trade for him?
I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't take the risk of a broken finger.
I mean, it's not his throwing hand, which is a good
it's not
thing.
his throwing hand. Okay, all right.
No, it's not his throwing hand. It's his left hand. But again, now you're still waiting for this player to come back. And
yeah,
if you're trying to make that playoff push,
throwing hand, then he probably will. But I don't think Oakland's going to get what they want for him, so they might hold on to him.
Right, his value goes down.
Yeah,
because now this team, you don't get him and put him in. You got to wait till he's healthy.
Yeah,
New York was rumored. I think Baltimore rumored. Those two teams definitely were in talks to get him. I think this hurts that chance of him going to one of those teams.
Yeah,
especially you're in a playoff push. You need a guy. Did you know though, Ron? Did you know? On record, the fastest pitch in Major League Baseball history, Mason Miller, 103.6 fastball.
Really? I thought somebody just had 140.
No, 103.6, highest in the game's history since 2008 when it's been tracked. Kind of crazy. 1-1 of 15 saves, a 2.21 ERA.
Yeah, I'd like to see Nolan Ryan back in the day.
Yeah, he leads all relievers with 70 strikeouts in 40 2/3 innings. So the guy is a talent.
Yeah.
Kind of a dumb decision on his part, and I'm surprised that him understanding where he is right now.
Maybe they will get what they want for him, because if you get a couple of teams involved, then there's a bidding war.
But again, how long does it take for him to get back?
Well, that's just it.
If it's a month and you're saying,
hey, another team.
Yeah, if I'm talking the end of August now, and I'm in a playoff push, I can't afford to not have this guy.
Yeah,
that's where I don't know. It may affect him. Another big trade just came down. A lot of trades going on in Major League Baseball. We'll probably definitely talk more about it next week once they're all done. But Red Sox have picked up left-handed James Paxton back with the team. Is he enough for the Red Sox, or do they need more, Ron?
That's a big pickup, because he was 6-2 in LA.
8-2.
8-2.
8-2, 4.43 ERA and 89 in 1 innings, 64 strikeouts.
And I mean, when you're talking a starting pitcher, and I'm frankly surprised that LA didn't find a spot for him.
Well, they just got back.
Oh, I know, but you're giving up a pitcher that's 8-2. That's a big deal.
Yeah, you get
and
Kershaw.
You have guys that are always on the MASH unit.
Kershaw's a guy. And I'm not a Red Sox fan. I like this move.
Oh, it's a great move.
Pavetta have pitched pretty well for the Red Sox, but this gives you another legitimate starter. Listen, and the thing is, he was there last year, so he still knows the core of this team. He fits right in. It's like such a smart move for Boston, because honestly, sometimes you bring these new guys in, they don't mesh well, or it takes time for them to get used to.
Right, he's been there.
He's been there. He knows this pitching staff. He knows the coaching staff. This was a very sneaky move by Boston to keep them in. And then you got to look at
the Dodgers put him on waivers, designated him for assignment. That's what it was. Designated him for assignment, so they had to do something with him because they couldn't fit him on the roster. But I would have moved somebody else that could have been more expendable, and you could have kept this guy and at least put him in the pen for a little while. Who knows? I don't know.
What about the move to keep Cora for another 3 years? Like Boston very quietly this week has said, listen, A, we didn't expect to be this good. B,
Yeah,
we're
but they
not going to.
stunk since the All-Star break.
But the key is, Ron, they're not sitting back and just saying, okay, you know what, let's just run it and see what happens. They're trying to make moves. They're trying to stay aggressive so that they can get into the wild card. Anything's possible once you get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think this move for Boston proves that they're still going to make moves, which a lot of people out there didn't think was going to happen. So if you're a Red Sox fan right now, you should be jumping for joy. People are like, oh, it's just James Paxton. Yeah. This is a great move for Boston because it helps solidify your starting rotation a little more, but B, it shows that this team's probably going to make another move or two.
Yeah, they're talking about bullpen and a bat.
And think about it. The teams ahead of them right now, New York and Baltimore, have not done anything.
No, that is not correct either.
Did something happen?
Yeah, just before we went on, Baltimore made a deal.
Oh, boy.
So Baltimore got Zach Eflin.
Oh, I did see that. Okay.
So that's going to bolster their pitching staff.
They're going to be a fun race towards the end here because all three teams, I think, are really going to big weekend coming up. We'll do the prediction later on, but that may be the sign for one of these teams on which direction they're going to be heading.
Yeah, when Baltimore is in, they know they got something here, right?
Yeah, because they usually don't get rid of players.
Right. So they are in, and now you know Boston's in, and you know the Yankees are in. They're waiting they're going to pull a trigger on something.
I don't know what they're in on, but we'll see. We'll see. But great move for Boston. So
yes.
It's trade deadline, what, the 30th? So next week we'll talk a little more about the trades that have happened in kind of, winners and losers when it comes to that. Before we move on, great time to discuss the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Currently, voting is happening. You could go to the Sports Unfolded Sports poll page on Facebook, cast your vote for one of these fine gymnasts, and get them inducted into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Ron is always willing to just give.
Yeah. You are no part of this.
Those nominees are, Ron.
Yeah, Olga Korbut, Larissa Latininia, Svetlana Korkina, Shannon Miller, and Nadia Comaneci.
So all great gymnasts. We're talking about the Olympics, right? So this is a great opportunity. Let's elect one of them into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. The polls will end next week. So you have one more week of polling before we actually close the polls and announce the winner.
Yes, and here's the list of them.
And these are the current inductees into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. On the right, some great, phenomenal athletes. And on the left is all the athletes who have not gotten in yet. And who's leading it? Oscar Robinson at 44%. Wow. Michael Phelps, 41%. We talk about the Olympics.
Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian of all.
Right. Did not get in. And these are all voted by the fans. These are by the fans.
Kobe had no votes.
Yeah, which is insane to think of. I still can't. But let's not. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 5% too is a little, the man led the NBA in scoring up until last year. All right, Ron, it is time for split decisions. Our split decision segment, basically, we ask each other two more likely questions, and then we have to make a decision based off of what we're asked. If you'd like to ask us a split decision question as well, please feel free to, put it in the chat, and we'll answer we'll answer those as well. Ron, you are first this week, so please, you're first.
Yeah, so going with the baseball theme, continuing with that, as of showtime, there have been, 4 trades. What I want from you, Eric, which one is more likely to make a bigger impact with their new team?
Okay.
Will it be Baltimore's Zach Eflin, Red Sox James Paxton, Seattle getting outfielder Randy Arozarena, or Arizona getting AJ Puck from Miami?
I'm gonna go Boston. I think this move gets them at least into the wild card. And I felt like they needed more help than anybody else, especially with the starting rotation. Baltimore has proven they can win. You know, this just bolsters it. Seattle's in kind of a nosedive, and I think Houston just finally woke up at some point. I don't think they were ever going to win the West anyway. And then Arizona, listen, yes, they were there last year, and I get it. They were in the World Series, but I don't consider them legitimate contenders. I still think if the Dodgers play baseball the way they're supposed to, the Dodgers win it. So I would go with Boston. I think Boston made the best move so far.
I tend to agree with that because he's going to help. Like I said, the key word was, the key two words was biggest impact.
Yeah, and I think he'll make the biggest impact.
Yeah.
All right, my first split decision. Is it more likely, Ron, that Dak Prescott gets a new deal from the Cowboys, signs one after the season ends, or becomes a free agent and goes to another team?
All right. So it's not going to be waiting till the end of the season to sign with the Dallas. Because if he doesn't get a new contract before the season is up, he's not re-signing with Dallas.
Okay.
Period. That's a tough one because I can see them not signing him.
He made a comment during training camp that he's like, a lot of the great quarterbacks that I've watched, I've seen play for other teams now. You look at Peyton Manning's, the Tom Brady's, Brett Favre's, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but he's not one of them.
I'm saying is, though, if you think about it's these quarterbacks are moving. Quarterbacks are moving.
Telling you.
Yeah, he's like, they quarterbacks go to other teams.
Yeah. I'm gonna say he's gonna sign somewhere else as a free agent. I don't think he's gonna resign.
Too bad James still out there. Dak done in Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Triple D's done in Dallas.
Yep.
All right. Your second split decision.
And I'm not even sure that's the right decision for them because what else are they going to have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. They have Trey.
Trey Lance, baby.
All right. So, speaking of football, which team is more likely not to repeat as division leader? Buffalo, Dallas, Baltimore, or Houston?
Dallas, Baltimore. What were the four?
Buffalo and Houston. Which is more likely not to return as a division leader?
James thinks that he's done Dak if they don't get to the NFC Championship. So Dak's gone. Let's just call it now. All right. Sorry, James. This is really tough for me because the NFC East, it's like a record right now. I think it's 11 or 12 years in a row that no team's been back to back.
Right.
So I'm gonna go. The obvious is Dallas, but I feel like Buffalo is got a strong shot of also doing it because I feel like the pieces they lost may be too much. But I'm going to go Dallas because it's just the easy, obvious answer that's happened for the last 12 years.
And the fact that Philadelphia got a lot better.
Yeah. So I'm going Dallas. But it's still, that's a tough one. That is a tough one
because Buffalo is vulnerable.
Yeah.
Baltimore is vulnerable because you have Cleveland and Cincinnati in that division. And I know Pittsburgh is still there too, but in Houston, what about Jacksonville, right?
Yeah. Mac Jones taking over. Get ready.
Could you imagine?
I will literally anyway, my second split decision, Ron, I go back to baseball. See how we did this? That's kind of funny how we flipped.
That is funny.
Is it more likely that Chris Sale finishes the season with the most wins in Major League Baseball, or he wins the National League Cy Young Award?
What does he got now?
13. He leads the league by
Good
one.
Lord,
By
are you
one.
kidding me?
And he's also his ERA is like
Oh.
2.6 something. It's ridiculous. Like that
Okay,
guy's
so Eric, knowing that he's a former Red Sox, and they gave up on him because he has been a waste of money for the last several years. So you knew he had to have a good year, right?
He's not riding bikes in Atlanta.
So not only is he going to have the most wins, he's also going to win.
So you're saying it's a twofer?
He's doing both.
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer.
Okay.
It's
So
Red
most
Sox
wins
law.
and a Cy Young for Chris Sale. More likely though. More likely.
I
More
can't
likely
pick
he wins
both. I'm picking both of your options.
All right. Chris Sale. What a season he's having. My goodness.
He's got 13 already.
It's ridiculous. I don't think he had 13 in the last 3 years with Boston.
No.
Jeez.
2.6 is insane.
Isn't it? Yeah, 2.63, I think, is his ERA. Isn't
he supposed to be too old?
And he's like in the top 5 in ERA, too. So it's like, I don't know. Oh, my goodness.
You get wins in top 5 in ERA, you're winning.
He's a hell of a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, any team that has him is lucky to. Oh, wait. Never mind. All right, Ron, let's talk some National Hockey League, NHL. Some signings going on. Travis Konecny.
Wait, what is it?
Konecny?
Konecny? Yeah.
Konecny. He got a new deal with the Philadelphia Flyers. Do you like the signing?
Well, they have to sign somebody.
Right. Listen, this kid led the team in points, goals, and assists.
It's a good hockey player.
27.
This kid could be better if they put some talent around him.
Yeah, build around him, right? I think the kid's got an opportunity. 8 years, $70 million deal. Next year, he'll become the highest paid player on the team, $8.75 million against the cap. Is he worth it? Come on, Ron. Lose a Christmas card. I'm helping you out here. Philadelphia is a tough market. They will not like something negative being said.
If they put some talent around him, he's worth it. But if you don't put talent around them, then your team is going to stink anyway. So why would it be worth it?
You know,
that's the way I look at it.
He was a
if
plus.
You're not going to make the playoffs. What is it worth it? No.
Ron, he was a +4. It was like second on the team.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. The team is terrible.
Bad. Yeah.
You know, yes, I understand they kept in the race through most of the year, and that is commendable. But almost every one of those players overachieved. And you know there's going to be a letdown this coming year. And when you're not winning to make the playoffs, because there's teams that just jumped over them. They're not going to make the playoffs. So is it worth paying somebody that much? No.
Yeah, listen, you got to start somewhere. So I guess, again, if he's your best player.
If it's a start, then great.
So you want to see more. You like the signing, but if they don't do more, then it's a bad signing.
If they don't do more, it's a bad signing. If they do more, then you have something.
All right. What do you guys think out there? Travis Konecny.
It's a shame that Philadelphia is a storied franchise, you know, and they always had a lot of grit. And when you don't see them scratch and claw to get wins, that's not sitting well with fans. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, no, agreed. And again, they had a nice run, but they couldn't make the
Broadway Bullies. You know, they haven't played anything like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great point, Ron. Great point. All right, Ron, it is time for pick and roll.
This is a good one.
It's time for pick and roll.
I will say, Ron, we do some tough ones. This was a tough one. So all these athletes at some point in their career wore the number 30. We are on episode 30, carrying the torch, season 4. And we need to rank these guys based on that. And those players are Steph Curry, Ken Griffey Jr., Nolan Ryan, Terrell Davis, Bernard King, and Martin Brodeur.
Oh, shoot.
We are ranking them from.
I forgot Bernard.
Did you?
I did everybody but Bernard King. I didn't even write his name down. My apologies,
So
Bernard.
I guess he's not even in your top 5, top 6. All right, let's rank them from 6 to 1, Ron. You are first this week.
Okay, so I'm putting number 6, Bernard King. Apparently, he wasn't even good enough to be on my list.
Well, Christmas cards lost from all Bernard King fans. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, but I mean, hey, that's how it is. Can you quickly give me his numbers if you have them?
22.5 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, four-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, 1-time scoring champ.
So number 6.
Okay.
Number 6.
Okay.
So number 5.
You're wrong, Bob. Okay, sorry.
I have Ken Griffey Jr. Like this is
At
just
5?
Yes, surprising.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why. Though. I'll tell you why. He only spent 5 years with the number 30.
Oh my goodness! Here we go with this again.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, 5 years. He spent 11, 12 years with the number 24 or 3. 24 is his number. Sorry, that's his number, not 30. So that's why he's there. I love his numbers. Look, he's a great player. But again, I would still put him at number 5 because although he's a great player, never really won anything. I mean, he has some accolades, Silver Sluggers and Gold Gloves. Gold Gloves are fantastic, by the way, 10 of them. But he won 1 MVP, didn't win any championships. And I think with the talent of the guys on this list, you needed to win one. You needed to win one. You know, if you're the guy that's the odd man out of championships, you're the odd man out. Period.
Okay. All right.
Number 4, I have Terrell Davis. And the only reason why he's number 4 is because he didn't play enough games. He needed to play more games. Only 78. But he made the most of that time, winning 2 championships. I believe a Super Bowl MVP, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Also an MVP.
Yes.
All-Star, Pro Bowl 3, All-Pro 3, rushing yards 16. It might be 7,600. Can't tell.
76.
1,600 rushing.
Yes.
7,600 yards, 4.6 per attempt, 60 touchdowns in those 78 games. That's beast mode right there. If he would have played more games, this guy could have been one of the best.
Agreed.
Number 3, Nolan Ryan. I mean, the guy has the most, the strikeouts are ridiculous. Look, he's the strikeout king in my book. And this is I mentioned him earlier today with the flame-throwing fastball that he has. You know, and sadly, the only reason why he's number 3 is because his win-loss record wasn't really that spectacular. You know, he's only 32 games over 500, and that's a long career.
Yeah, agreed.
But the man can no hit. You know, he needed help with the bats.
Obviously, right? Because what do you have? 7? Wasn't it 7 no hit?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like there's nobody that's ever going to touch that. All right, number 2, I have Steph Curry. Sorry, Kenny. He made number 2. Sorry. 956 games played, 10 All-Stars, 2 scoring titles, 1 steal championship, 4 championships, 10 All-NBA, if I can read my writing, 2 MVPs, 1 Finals MVP. And it was so tough trying to figure out between him and number 1. And the only reason why I didn't put him at number 1 is because he's not the all-time leader in whatever. Number one, Martin Brodeur, all-time leader in wins. I had to give him the nod over it. And that is the only thing stopping Steph Curry from being number one, because he has all the accolades. But this man has all the accolades too. So when you're talking 7 All-Stars, 3 championships, Rookie of the Year, the only guy I believe on the list that had Rookie of the Year. 5 Jennings as the best goals against average in the league. So in my book, that was like scoring titles for Steph. And Vesna being the best goaltender of the year 4 times, and that was the nod over Steph's 2 MVPs.
Okay,
And that's the difference. And Steph could end up topping it.
Okay. All right. So start a little different. At 6, I had Terrell Davis. Again, I didn't like the fact 7,600 rushing yards sounds great, but it's not. Some of the guys we've talked about. So I was like, eh. And only guy that thinks he should be higher is John Elway, because guess what? He helped John Elway get another championship, because that Super Bowl, that he won all those MVPs. He was dominated.
He was the best player in the league.
Dominated by far. But
it was amazing to see.
But he had that 1 year, the other championship, I think John Elway won.
Eric, it was another thing. Like, I'm trying to look at all these numbers, and I'm like, okay, Martin Brodeur. Okay, you can easily say he's the best goaltender ever, right?
Yeah.
Steph Curry, best shooter ever.
Mm-hmm.
Although I like Larry Bird, but that's besides the point. Ken Griffey Jr. At one point, he was the best player in baseball.
Yeah. Nolan Ryan, one of the best pitcher, could very well be. Yeah.
Yeah, and Terrell Davis. For that 1 year, he was the best.
Yeah.
It was hands down the best. He just didn't play enough, but I gave him a lot of credit because of what he did accomplish in that time.
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying what he accomplished is phenomenal. I'm not saying it wasn't, but
this was so tough. I had Terrell Davis as high as number 2 at one point, and then last.
Yeah, it's weird. Bernard King, I had at 5. I love the 4 All-Stars, the 4 All-NBAs. When you're an All-NBA, it just means that you're one of the best players for 4 years. So, and his numbers are really good. 22.5 points is really good. So, I went Nolan. I went Nolan Ryan at 4.
And I can see this.
And it's because of the wins. When you said it, I was like, he lost almost 300 games.
I know.
Well. Like, and I'm not saying, to your point, get him some help, but 3.19 ERA, which isn't horrible. But again, it wasn't like, holy cow. Like, if you look at all the great pitches, they're all kind of in that range.
It's not those Walter Johnson, Randy Johnson, it was probably about the same, but Pedro, all of those guys.
2 ERAs.
Wait, so Sonny Koufax?
Yeah. Funny. Oh, boy. He did win a championship, but I put Griffey Jr. ahead of him at 3. 630 home runs. I would have liked to see 3,000 hits. I think that kind of hurt. But then the 10 gold.
That's another thing that hurt him in my book.
10 gold gloves, 7 silver sluggers, an MVP, Major League Baseball. And I gave him a nod, and I never do, but I gave him a nod for winning 3 home run derbies. Because back then, to me, they were
actually did mean something.
They were actually more important. They really meant something. When he flipped his cap back and he was doing it with the hat back, like, I'll never forget that moment.
He's one of my favorite players of all time.
He was. He was a great player.
He's just a class act.
And then even like you said, the gold gloves. I remember him climbing the wall in center field just to make some catches.
He was going to be the next Willie Mays.
He really was. At 2, I agree with you though. Steph Curry. 10 All-Stars, 10 All-NBAs. His numbers are okay. The 4 championships helped. 2 MVPs helped. But I will say this, Ron, Martin Brodeur is absolutely sick. Like, the 691 wins, people.
I know. I didn't want to.
The man played over 1,000 games. Like,
I wanted to save those for last because I knew you were going to have him number
691 wins, Ron.
I know.
397 losses. He's still over 1,000, and he had 154 ties. The man played almost 1,200 games as a goaltender. It's ridiculous. 125 shutouts, Ron. 125 shutouts.
Yeah.
But then you say, oh, wow, all those years he probably, had a lot of goals scored against. No, 2.24 goals against. Over 1,200 games, 2.24 goals against, a 912 save percentage. Ridiculous.
It is. And that's why I didn't want to read off those numbers, because that just further solidifies that thing.
As I'm writing them down, I'm going, there's no way this guy's not number one. It was ridiculous. It was just his numbers are so good. Like,
now,
they
Steph
should change the Vezina.
On, he can still get there.
Yeah.
Because he's got some time left.
But I don't.
I don't know if he's going to catch that.
To your point, I don't think I'll ever be like, you'll always have like the Birds in there and those guys that are great shooters.
Right. And to me, there are two goaltenders.
I would change the Vezina to Brodeur. I would change it to the Brodeur. Based on what he did, he's by far, that's a goalie. Like, this guy dominated.
Yeah.
But
three Stanley Cups.
Right? What a great list.
It is. And 3, 4, and 5. I mean, I didn't really do Bernard King, and I feel sad for Bernard King because he's a great player. So I didn't look at the numbers. But like my 3, 4, and 5 were like flip-flopping a million times.
All right, my friend. Great list, though. That was fun. Let's move to predictions. So bring that chart up.
God, do we have to?
I mean, you are on fire. We talk Mr. Worldwide over here, Mr. 8 games over 500, Ron. You are holding steady. 1-5 last week, not so hot. You got I went 4-2. Kenny 3-1 last week, so he's had 2 solid back-to-back weeks. So Kenny, great job there. If you're joining us live and you'd like to get your name on our prediction chart, just let us know who you picked during these games, and we will gladly make sure that we add you to our list. All right. Ron, you are first this week, so you start us off. Starting tonight, it's probably almost first pitch, probably next 5 minutes or so. New York Yankees at the Boston Red Sox. 3-game series.
Yankees.
You're going New York. I'm going Boston. New York is absolute
I look
shambles.
At the pitching rotation these 3 games, and Yankees have the advantage every game.
Doesn't matter. They stink. James going Boston. Yankees have absolutely been a train wreck.
Yes, and this is why I don't mind taking a loss here. I'm hoping, seeming I've been so wrong the last 2 weeks.
You just rather be wrong. I got you, buddy. I got you. All right. Also starting tonight, you got the Los Angeles Dodgers at the Houston Astros. As much as I think Houston is playing well, they're only 4 games over 500. The Dodgers seem to have figured it out. I'm going LA here.
Yeah, I went Dodgers as well. I think they're just too good for Houston at this point. Yeah, Kenny agrees.
Yeah, Dodgers. What else you got? We're waiting on James here. What do you got, James?
I mean, there's a couple other people watching, so let's go, people. Get your picks in.
You two can try to see if you can beat Ron's 1-5. I mean, the odds are actually for you right now. The Dodgers. All right, that was a clean sweep on that one. What are we at? Sunday, you got the men's Team USA basketball facing Serbia in the Olympics.
This is a scary one, right? I mean, you got that big guy right there, just like waiting to chomp. I'm going to go with USA, but that's a tentative USA win.
Wow. Okay. USA, Ron USA, Kenny USA. Clean sweep again, my friend, because I'm going USA here. I think they can do enough right now. It did bother me, though, Steve Kerr. Wow, Kenny. We don't say those. Kenny. That's not nice.
Wait, what?
He's talking about Nikolai Jokic because he put on some weight. So I don't like, he put a little comment up there. I will say this though. I didn't like when Steve Kerr's like, "Oh, these guys will wake up now because it's for real." Like, what does that mean? Like, wait a minute. They should have woke up already. All right, Ron. We also have
Doesn't say much for those players.
we also have on Monday the
Kenny's
women.
apologizing. Send hate
Okay.
mail too.
Yeah, Kenny. On Monday, you got the women's Team USA basketball, and they are facing Japan. They did lose to the WNBA All-Stars, but I think they have enough talent to beat Japan. I'm going Team USA here.
Yeah, I think they have enough talent to beat Japan. Just a little bit.
Just if this is an upset waiting to happen, I don't know what it is. Like, come on. And then Caitlin Clark will tweet out.
My picks lately.
Caitlin Clark will tweet out like, "Hey, if I was on the team, like this could just start a whole thing."
Oh my gosh,
this would be amazing. Ron, also on Sunday, you got the women's team soccer, United States women team soccer facing Germany.
Yeah, I'm going to go USA as well.
Ron going USA. Germany's going to be tough, but I went USA as well. Believe it or not, they're not favored. The women are not favored. Spain is.
Yeah.
Close second, though, United States.
Mm-hmm. That's all the fire they need, right?
Kenny going USA. We've got clean sweeps going across the board other than Ron picking the Yankees. All right. And then UFC 304 welterweight title on the line here. Leon Edwards versus Bala Muhammad.
Bilal.
I don't know. It's close
Bala.
enough.
Where are you seeing Bala in that?
Belal. Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
This is for the title.
Yeah, it's going to be Leon Edwards.
You going Edwards?
Oh, yeah.
I also went with the champ, Edwards. What do we got out there, gentlemen?
They don't know who the hell they are.
Bala Muhammad Edwards. We both got it. 2 Edwards. All right. So everybody,
So I'm the only one that picked anything different.
You picked the Yankees.
In an attempt to get the Red Sox to win.
And I will say it was tough this week to get predictions because there's not a lot going on. WNBA is shut down. MLS is shut down. NASCAR is shut down. I don't know. What's going on. Ron, before we move on to our final thoughts, Ron, can you bring up the NHL Hall of Famer?
Nope.
So, again, we gave you the gymnasts. These are our NHL nominees for the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Team handball, man. James, I promise you next week, team handball. We got to put a team handball.
Oh, I love team handball. That's fun. I've played that.
Ron, since you do such a good job with the gymnasts, why don't you tell the wonderful people out there who our nominees are for the NHL Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame?
Okay, so we have Georges Vezina, Patrick Waugh, Roberto Luongo, Ed Belfour, and Henrique Lundqvist.
So that was pretty good, man. You should be in a movie. You'd probably be a top 5. I will say this. Voting is going on currently on the Sports Unfolded Sports poll page on Facebook. Log in, cast your vote, and you have about another week before we actually have our new nominees inducted into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Currently on the right-hand side, you see those great players. So they'd be trying to join Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux, and Wayne Gretzky in the hockey portion of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we will.
Guys on the right, on the left, look at that. Martin Brodeur, who we just talked about as being probably the greatest goalie of all time, 18%.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about, right? Jaromir Jagr, Dominic Hasek, and Mark Messier have not been inducted in. These are voted by the fans. So again, vote on Sports Unfolded Sports poll page on Facebook. Again, it is open currently. It will end next week. So get your votes in for one of those great nominees. and that is the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Ron, we've been on the air now for a little over an hour. We haven't told everyone all the wonderful ways they can like, follow, and share our show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. MeWe, we're on MeWe as well. We're on so many different platforms that you can check us out. Patreon, another way to help donate. A lot of great Sports Unfolded merchandise. If you'd like to purchase some Sports Unfolded merchandise, you can go to Patreon. Sports Unfolded mugs, mouse pads, stickers, pens, a little bit of everything. Pins. So go on Patreon. You can purchase some Sports Unfolded merchandise, as well as donating stars and bits. You can donate stars and bits. You can buy me a coffee. So many different ways that you can
or a hot chocolate.
Or a hot chocolate. Buy me a hot chocolate. Ron, as well as we've got a banner up there, and we'd love to get a sponsor. Can you tell everyone out there how they can become a sponsor of Sports Unfolded and get their name on hundreds of eyes daily?
I sure can, Eric. I mean, it's very simple. All you really have to do is send us an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information. But let me tell you, better do it quickly, because we got the radio station actively looking for sponsors, and I probably have messages from them. I haven't checked the messages in a couple of days, so you might want to get in on this while it still costs less than a cup of coffee and a chocolate donut.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to do that. And again, like, share, follow our show. Again, we'd love to have our fans join in. James, Kenny, you guys have been amazing tonight. We are fan interactive. So again, if you join us live, you're more than welcome to chime in. You can listen to us on all our audio platforms as well. Not only if you don't want to see these two beautiful, handsome men, you can definitely make sure that you look at that face. How do you not want to see that? Then maybe you just want to listen. So check us out on all our audio platforms as well. So again, so many different ways. If you are listening to us on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, hey, join us live Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Southeast Connecticut, Public Access, Channel 12, every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Again, if you're watching, hey, if you want to join live, again, Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, you too can become a sponsor. Get it while it's hot, because it's gonna pop, and you're gonna have, again, hundreds of thousands of eyes, ears on your business weekly. So it's a benefit to you as well. Ron, it is final thoughts time, and final thoughts don't necessarily have to be anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. You are first tonight, so please allow us to hear your final thoughts.
Okay.
Final thoughts sponsored by Going On Daily, by the way.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
Going On Daily. And I will say this, a great morning program that's on every day. So check that out as well on Rhode Island Broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, that just gives an example to where we can put your ad, and it could be longer, of course, and we can read it off. So I would probably sponsor if I were you. Just saying. My final thought today is very simple. We had Larissa Latininia, great Olympian. Jesse Owens, another great Olympian. Usain Bolt. How do you not like those performances? And of course, the number one guy in all of Olympics, Michael Phelps, with his 28 gold medals, medals, 23 of those being gold. Now we have Katie Ledecky trying to make some history. She currently has 10 medals, 7 of them gold. She needs one to tie for the top 20 of all time, with like Matt Biondi, Mark Spitz, and a couple others. She needs 3, and she's in 3 events to become top 10 all-time medal winners. If she medals in 3 of those events, and let me tell you, she's going to do it. She goes in with like Irene Wust and Takashi Ono, who also have 13 medals all time. I wish she was in more because she really needed 5 to get to top 5, but hopefully she'll be able to come back in another one. I'm not so sure. She's already been through 3, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But she can get top 10 all time medals, and I'm wishing her luck, and I hope she brings home gold in all 3.
Good luck. My final thoughts. Have to. I will say I'm a little.
Why am I not surprised?
I wish we did Christmas cards lost during final thoughts because I am so upset right now with the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots yet again have proven to me that this is the same regime that was previously here in Bill Belichick by signing Jabril Peppers, who I think is a very nice player. I do. But a 3-year contract up to $30 million. And here we go again with a 4-12 team who once again is recycling the same players, expecting a different result. Definition of insanity. CD Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, some of these players that could actually make a difference with this team have barely been mentioned in any media or anything of interest by the Patriots. That's how you would have made an impact this season, is by picking up players that the past regime would not have done. You are literally the same. It's looking in the mirror. I am so disappointed right now that it doesn't even make sense to me. Not that I don't want Jabril Peppers. I like the player. But again, you've literally re-signed basically your entire team from last season and not added any new pieces. So good luck to you, because I don't feel like we're going in any different direction.
To me, that says that they think that Mayo is a better head coach than
Bill Belichick. To each their own. And my second one, Ron, I don't know if you've heard this story, but the Canadian national women's soccer team recently was caught using drones to spy on a practice of an opposing team. Can we finally just admit that most people in sports, most teams in sports cheat? Get off the Patriots. They would cheat. Listen, everyone's doing it.
Every one of them do it.
Someone just does it either better where they don't get caught. Because this was a clear-cut sign that, listen, they won the gold. The Canadian national team. Is that tainted now too? We've got to start to question everything in sports. It happens more often than you believe. Some just don't do it as well. Don't send drones to the opposing team's field while they're practicing. Maybe, it might be a little obvious. Just understanding that this happens everywhere. I'm so sick of every argument that anybody has is the Patriots cheated. So did everybody else in the NFL. So does everybody else in the national soccer world, in Major League Baseball, in the NBA. And they all do it. Just get over it. Some just, unfortunately, don't know how to do it well enough to not get caught.
Right. And it's sad that some of those teams, that cheat, whether it be Washington or the Chargers or whoever it may be, not singling out, not assuming anything, didn't Washington get caught with that sound stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you still suck.
Yeah. So that's
you didn't even improve the team.
Some don't cheat as well as others.
Right.
But again, let's get over this thing. Anyway, Ron, I want to thank you. What a great show tonight. I had so much fun. That starting 5 by far was such a great conversation. The NFL talk that we had today as well, plus the Olympic basketball, the Olympics in general. Listen, the ceremonies were going on, right? So such a great time for sports. Enjoy it. Check us out on all our social media platforms. Like, share, follow us. Tell your friends how great they are. And then join us live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like the big dog there and James have done so religiously every week. We appreciate it. Ron, we get to do it all over again next week. So I appreciate having this time and opportunity with you and everybody out there. All we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.